Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger. Let's talk. There are two players that the Baltimore Ravens cannot live without this season, as we are preparing for preseason game number 3 and then the cut down, going from a 90-man roster to 53 guys who have made the cut. And I think that there are two players that the Baltimore Ravens cannot live without in all types of relationships, marriages, engagements, hookup culture, whatever the type of relationship there is. There's always reasons people create to part ways. Fell out of love, found somebody else. It's not me, it's you. It's not you, it's me. Whatever the reason, there's all kind of reasons people part ways. But there are two players that the Baltimore Ravens cannot afford to part ways with. Those players are Rashawn Ali and Ruben Lowry. Let's start with Rashaan Ali. A 5th round pick from last year, and if I can admit, a guy that I was not impressed with at all. In fact, I thought it was a bad pick when the Baltimore Ravens left better perceived running backs on the board. I thought it was a bad pick because the running back room was already filled with Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. And so to take a guy in the 5th round who probably was not going to see the field, I thought was a bad idea. And in fact, I don't regret that thought. I don't regret that commentary that I had. But as I turned the page and I began to examine and consider Rashaan Ali for the 2025 roster, I'm here to say I do not think that the Baltimore Ravens can live without this player. John Harbaugh has already stated that they plan to keep 4 running backs. And I think he and Dearness Johnson were in competition for that 4th spot that John Harbaugh has almost guaranteed that they will have. But I think that although the competition has been thick, I think it must be Rashaan Ali. Rashaan Ali is a running back who has proven something this offseason. He's healthy, he's performed well in training camp, and for 2 games back-to-back, he's performed well in live game action. He's shown the ability to run between the tackles. He's shown the ability and speed to run outside the tackles. He has shown power. He has shown good vision. And he has shown some burst, a little bit of speed to break away. And I think with everything that he's shown, the Baltimore Ravens can't live without this guy. He has kick return ability, and being that 4th running back, although he may not get many touches, if one of the other guys has some injury concerns this season, he has more than shown that he could step in to be a 3rd back and fill in nicely. He's not Keith Mitchell. He's a little bigger, but he doesn't have the speed. But I think even though he doesn't have the speed, he absolutely has everything else you need to be successful in the Baltimore Ravens uniform, as they want to run the ball first. If Justice Hill has some games where he has to be out, Rashaan Ali has shown the ability to be able to step in to that role as well. Again, he doesn't have the speed that Justice Hill has. He doesn't have the elusiveness, but he has a complete skill set to fill in nicely for Justice Hill. And again, he does have that dual role ability, that versatility to be in a kick return. I believe you could also put him in the punt return if you needed him to. And he definitely can fill some space in that backfield. And I just don't think they can afford to live without him, right? Because it's almost a certainty that Keaton Mitchell will not play 17 or 17 games, right? He's coming off a major injury. He was healthy in training camp up until this point, missed last week's game with some type of soft tissue issue. And we understand how those issues are. John Harbaugh says that he'll be ready for the regular season. It's not a big deal, but we want to have the equipment we need to where we're not searching. We're already ready to roll. And I think Rashaan Ali has the ability to step in and handle business if he's called into duty. Ruben Lowry, a UDFA cornerback, has done nothing more than validate himself as a credible, reliable, viable option on this Baltimore Ravens roster. When he got into camp, he was always in good coverage, picking off passes. In training camp, same thing, good in coverage, picking off passes. Live game action, same thing, good in coverage and picking off passes. So all this dude does is ball hawk. And we haven't had a guy to ball hawk the way that Ruben Lowry does since Marcus Peters. Now, am I saying he's Peters? No. Am I saying he's going to live up to Peters and what he was at the peak of his powers? No. I'm just simply saying we haven't had a guy who's been a ball magnet like this for some time. In fact, we have not had a UDFA to ball like this in some time. The only guy that I can remember in the last 3 or 4 seasons to really catch some notoriety was Dayton Wade, and that was off of a couple of good training camp practices and then an 80-plus yard touchdown run where he shook down the receiver and took it, the cornerback, and took it the distance. But other than that, I don't remember a UDFA having this kind of buzz. But not only just buzz, but having the credentials, the accomplishment, the attainment, live in game to validate everything he's shown in training camp. I do not think the Baltimore Ravens could live without this guy because he's versatile. Every position you needed him to play, he's tested out at and been well. Slot corner, did well at. Deep safety, done well. Outside corner, done well. And not that he's been elite, but he's been consistent. And at the cornerback position, and with some injury concerns with some guys ahead of him, we need a guy who's a fast learner and a guy who could step in. Not a full-time starter yet, but a guy who could step in and hold his own in the NFL. Let's see what these two dudes do in game number 3. And I think we can safely say that the Baltimore Ravens must keep both Ali and Lowry. And until next time, I'm out.